Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and after nearly 17 years of casting the fans of Doctor Who aside and treating them like shit, refusing to go to conventions, and generally disassociating himself from one of his most beloved characters, Christopher Eccleston recently returned to the fans with his hand out, begging for money, finally going to conventions, finally signing autographs, and finally returning to Big Finish to record some new specials. And a lot of the fans aren't okay with this just because after so many years of treating everyone like shit, you don't come back begging for money. You have to show a little humility, apologize a little bit, and that's nothing that he has done since coming back. The first thing he did is give me money. I deserve this, and a lot of fans aren't okay with that because of how poorly he's treated us in the intervening years since Series 1 dropped. And now it seems like he's really trying to dive back into the Doctor Who fandom because he has some comments here about the 60th anniversary that I want to get in here from CBR. But generally, I love his Doctor. He is one of the best acted Doctors. He did a phenomenal job, but in real life, he has a lot of issues, especially some personal issues that I don't want to get into that are terrible, that did cause some of the initial stuff when it came to disassociating from the fandom, but he carried that past those issues, and then he comes back without, a little humility. If he had just said, hey, I was going through a rough patch, I'm really sorry for how I treated you all, I'm here for you, I want to make this up to you, everyone would have forgiven him outright, but he won't admit any wrongdoing, he won't admit anything, and he's just asking for money. That's the first thing he did. And compounded upon the comments that we're going to get into later here, it definitely doesn't lend towards the fans forgiving him or really accepting him back into the fandom. But let's get into it. Christopher Eccleston would return to Doctor Who under one condition, and he is in no position with the fans to make demands. That's like what I was saying. He shouldn't be asking for money from fans, and he should just be like, let me do whatever you guys want. I need to make this up to you guys. And so this alone is very concerning to the fans. Former Doctor Who star Christopher Eccleston said he would consider returning to the BBC sci-fi series under one condition. Revealed he's open to returning to the BBC sci-fi series in the future so long as he doesn't have to share the screen with any other Doctors. And that doesn't help. That really doesn't help. It makes everyone believe that he's a vain individual only there for his own fame. And that's very concerning. All the other Doctors across Classic and New Who every single one of them has appeared in at least one crossover with another Doctor. And whether or not that's in audio form or in live action. And they realize that it's the same character and it's not all about them. It's not all about them, but he seems to be the one exception to that rule. Eccleston discussed the possibility of portraying the ninth incarnation of the Doctor once again in a recent interview. The ninth Doctor in particular is a one-man band, definitely, which is absolutely not true. Maybe at the beginning of his arc, but his arc was about opening up to people, and if he was a one-man band, he wouldn't have companions like Rose. He wouldn't be friends with Captain Jack. There'd be a lot of things about his character that would not be the case if he was accurate in this statement. I feel like Christopher Eccleston is a good actor, and he did a very good job portraying the role back in 2005, but he's been so cut off from the role and the franchise for so long that I don't think he understands the character anymore, because the Doctor's not a one-man band. That's why he travels with companions. And so to say, oh, he doesn't work with other Doctors like he says here, absolutely would not be the case. He's not the most loner of the Doctors. There are ones like William Hartnell, I would say, would be the one most adverse to working with other Doctors out of all of them. And we kind of saw that in Twice Upon a Time, where he was just like, I don't really want to be you. I just kind of want to do my own thing. Stay away from me. The ninth wouldn't be like that, especially at the end of his arc. So these comments are not accurate, if nothing else. And so when you do a multi-Doctor special, it helps keep you alive in the fans' hearts. It keeps you relevant. It keeps them caring about you. It's a really good way to stay involved with the fans and the franchise. So to say, I want to do a multi-Doctor franchise, I want to do it alone, I don't work with other people, is very hard to hear as a fan and just really a sign of bad character and a misunderstanding of the franchise. If you want me, get me back on my own. Fucking hell. Yeah, and that's kind of why he kind of had to leave the show in the first place, because he wasn't working well with Russell T Davies. He had some creative differences, and he just wasn't easy to work with. Despite being a really good Doctor, it just came with so many other complications that it may not be worth having him in the role in the first place, which sucks because I really did like him. Eccleston further shared why he was so adamant about not returning to Doctor Who episode or special that he saw him star opposite versions of the character. When I worked on the series, I have really strong ideas about what works and what doesn't, and I always think that the multi-doctor stories are a bit of a cash-in and bit of exploitation. And yeah, it's those really strong ideas that created the issue in the first place, why he had to leave the show. He was just butting heads with everyone so much, and it seems like Russell T Davies was right, because after he left, David Tennant and him made the show bigger than it had ever been before. So his strong ideas probably were wrong. And yes, the multi-doctors can be a bit of a cash-in, but there are so much more than that. It is a way to remind the audience that they are the same character, that they are the same person, and that they are still very similar to each other in ways that are a lot more subtle than you might imagine. The 50th anniversary is one of the best episodes of Doctor Who, at least New Who, because it brings those characters in a way together that is just very compelling, and it tells a really good story. So yes, it might be about money, but executed properly, it is about so much more than that. And if he understood the franchise, he would know that it's about so much more than that. Even back in New Who, it's about so much more than that. Creatively, it never worked. There are so many opportunities to show different facets of a single character by showing different versions of them. Creativity, it is a whirlpool of unlimited possibilities, more than even a regular episode could provide. So creativity, there's a lot of opportunities that he's casting aside for these comments. I looked at the script for the 50th anniversary and felt as soon as I said I wasn't going to be doing it, it could be better. Well, if I'm not in it, it's better. And it's not necessarily true. It would have been great to have him included, especially because a lot of the events that they were covering were events that were originally believed to have been experienced by him. And it just would have been a really nice way to bring new and old Who back together like they did, but just kind of tie it in, actually show the regeneration from 8 to 9. And because he didn't do it, they had to make up the War Doctor last minute. And I do really love the War Doctor and the stuff that they did with him. So I'm okay it worked out the way it did. Best case scenario, I would have liked the War Doctor and the Ninth to come in, and that I feel like would have been a really good episode and would have benefited from his inclusion. So I don't agree with him being gone is a good thing. Eccleston had kind words to say about his most recent successor, Jody Whittaker. Branding the 13th Doctor, the greatest Doctor. I read these comments on my Hollywood University stream on Monday, and those words really hurt me then too. Because, yeah, he lost what little respect I had for him there, because anyone who's seen the 13th Doctor knows that the writing and the acting are just subpar more than anything else, above any other political narrative that can be built around it. It's just shit writing. And Jay actually breaks that down in the 5-hour video very well, if you guys want to check that out. But it is the worst Doctor on a myriad of technical and writing reasons that have nothing to do with politics. And Eccleston, if you can't see that, maybe you're right. Maybe you shouldn't come back to the show because you don't understand what it means to be a good Doctor if you think she's the greatest Doctor. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's best that you stay away from the franchise because you just have some bad takes, you're not being humble, and you're saying she's the best. Yeah, kind of an issue for the fans. It's kind of a big issue. And you know what? Stay the fuck away if that's your attitude towards it. Whittaker's departing this year. Yeah, and it's talking about Whittaker's farewell. And then, yeah, Russell T Davies returning. So, yeah, that seems to be the end of his comments there. But, yeah, those are just some very concerning comments to me and really just drive down my respect for the band. And I love his Doctor. I'm always going to love Series 1 and his relationship with Rose. There are a lot of things to love about it. And I think everything worked out very good the way it did. Like, it sucks that we didn't get more of him, but we may not have gotten David Tennant if we had gotten more of him. So you can feel bad for what we lost, but be grateful for what we have in this type of instance. And, you know, I'm okay with him never coming back. There's just a lot more stories to tell, and his was told very concisely and very quickly. And I don't want to tarnish that, per se. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.